Hey y'all, Ramdino here. What the heck am I doing laying in the dirt? Well, I'm bringing you a PSA about something that hits the trail almost every single year, and if it hits you, you ain't gonna like it. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the norovirus, and this is the norovirus season coming up right now if it ain't already here. So, unless you want to look like this, or this, or this, listen up.
So the trail is packed, hostels are packed, Trail Magic is packed, shelters are packed, everybody's congregating together. The weather's starting to get warmer. People's hands and whatever their appendages are not as clean, but people are being forced together now just due to the population that's out there on the trail. And typically, when the norovirus hits, it starts around this time of the year, and it really starts just before the Smokies when people are kind of get stuck in Fontana and the Knock and those places, getting ready to go into the Smokies, and then it breaks out in earnest in the Smokies because in the Smokies you can't spread out. When you stop for the night, you have to be in a shelter or around a shelter area. So that's when people are sharing the bunk space there. They're sharing the sleeping platform. They're sharing the cooking platform. They're sharing the table there, and they're just sharing each other's food bags, each other's water bags. And so everybody gets packed together in there. The privies are there, and the privies start overflowing if they're not full. And by the way, I've been through several down in Georgia over the past couple weeks, and they are already full up into the receptacle area there up above the floor where you put your feet. So typically they're supposed to be several feet down below that. So privies are overflowing there, and it spreads up the trail from the Smokies from there. So what is norovirus? Well, it's a gastrointestinal virus which causes inflammation of the stomach and the intestines. It lasts anywhere from 1 to 3 days and causes diarrhea, nausea, stomach pain, vomiting, headache, body aches, lethargy, dehydration, and you're probably already hiking dehydrated anyway, like most hikers do. There's no treatment other than time that you can do, and stay hydrated. It is highly contagious, and it is spread from contaminated people, contaminated food that has been contaminated by people, contaminated water sources that's been contaminated by contaminated people, contaminated hostels, hiker foods, trail magic, and especially around the shelters. So it's anywhere that a lot of people are in a group. It can be active on a surface for 48 hours after it's been introduced on that surface. So if someone's at a shelter, they've got norovirus, they touch that table, and 2 days ago, then you could come up and get that if you touch that same spot. People with a norovirus, they can shed billions of particles at a time, and it only takes a few hundred particles to cause you to get sick with a norovirus. 2 years ago, it started around the 1st of April. So that was, and then in 2020, we had COVID. So a lot of people got off the trail, wasn't as many people massed together. Trail magic wasn't happening there because people got off the trail, and then they forbid trail magic at trailheads and stuff. The people were also cleaning themselves more. Hostels were definitely cleaning themselves more in 2020, those that were open. And then also in 2021, the same thing happened. People were still wary about COVID, so they were still cleaning. Hostels were still cleaning. This year, though, seems to be a little different because there's more people on the trail. It's probably more people than I've seen in years, and I would dare say this is the largest group out there that's on the trail right now. People have kind of forgotten about COVID, so they may not be staying as clean. Most hostels are clean places, and most hostels are going to sanitize and everything. They're still doing that. ALDA, the Appalachian Long Distance Hikers Association, gives out sanitizing kits to hostels out there, but there are hostels that are not clean. And you know the ones I'm talking about. You can walk in there and see that. So back when I tracked it back in 2019, started, like I said, down in northern North Carolina, right before the Smokies, got into the Smokies, tracked it all the way up into Virginia, but it can go further than that, and you can get it more than one time on the trail because there are different strains of the norovirus. So this year, right now, I don't have direct knowledge that it has started yet. However, there was an evacuation by chopper out of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park like a week or so ago, and there was I have third-hand knowledge there's a possibility that was a patient that had to be evacuated out due to the norovirus. This individual hiker could not stand, and so they had to send the National Guard chopper in there to get them. Don't have any first-hand or second-hand knowledge of that, but it doesn't matter because it's coming. Trust me, with this group out here, it's coming. So you have got to avoid that if you want to stay on trail and not just mess all over yourself. So some ways to avoid it: don't share each other's food bag. Don't reach into somebody's food bag and grab their gorp or peanuts or snacks or kale or whatever your snack is there. Don't share water bottles. Wash your hands constantly. Don't share food, chips, cookies at Trail Magic. If you see some of that loose stuff laying around, then just avoid it. If they've got prepackaged goods, then those would be safe, but anything out in the open like that is not safe. If you go into a hostel and it looks dirty, leave. If you go into a hostel and they're not sanitizing regularly, then you need to leave. If you're a hostel owner, by the way, and you know that norovirus is in your area, please let me know so that I can warn hikers. I will not divulge the hostel that reported that to me, but hikers do need to know so that they can be wary of that. They should be wary anyway, but it doesn't hurt to let them know. If you arrive at a shelter and find this, leave. How you doing?
Doing good.
I'm Ramdino.
I'm Nora.
Oh, see ya.
Well,
Do not do this at a shelter.
So a few tips for avoiding Nora at the shelters if you have to use the shelters. So one of the things you should not do is this: lick crumbs up off the picnic table. Boy, that hits the spot. Do not do that. Another tip at the shelter is don't just pick up random crumbs that are sitting on the table that somebody's left, even though you have not sufficiently provided yourself for food. That looks good. That looks good. Yeah. Oh, that's good. I think anybody else got any other crumbs? Not good. Don't do that. Sure way to get Nora at the shelter.
Or hostels or anything else. So stay hydrated, wash your dirty hands, practice whole body good hygiene, stay out of each other's food bags. It would be better to stay out of the shelters and use your tent and a hammock, especially during wet weather when everybody wants to get in the shelter so they don't have to pack up wet gear. However, everybody wants to get in the shelter, so that's when the norovirus spreads. So use your tent, pack up your wet gear. Trust me, unless you bought it from Walmart, it's going to dry out. Good luck out there. I hope you don't end up looking like this. And as always, appreciate you. And we'll see you out there. Unless you got the norovirus, in which case I'm leaving.
Hey y'all, Ramdino here. What the heck am I doing laying here? That's a great question. Why am I laying in the dirt?